The air inside the intimate confines of the Eagles Casino's showroom was thick with anticipation as the crowd awaited the evening's headline entertainment. From the plush VIP booths hugging the stage to the tightly packed rows of folding chairs, every seat had been claimed hours before showtime by avid fans eager to catch George Lopez's famously biting brand of comedy. As the house lights finally dimmed, the roar of the crowd swelled in greeting when Lopez's compact frame emerged from the wings, microphone in hand. Clad in his trademark casual attire, an untucked dress shirt and well-worn jeans, the Mexican-American comic flashed a mischievous grin as he launched into his opening salvo of acerbic observations. For nearly an hour, Lopez's comedic barrage explored the usual thematic terrain, the trials of middle-aged life, the befuddlements of modern culture, the ever-shifting sands of political correctness. But it was when he turned a satirical eye towards the thorny saga of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex that the atmosphere inside the showroom morphed from one of raucous entertainment to something far more edgy and subversive. "Can we talk about these two for a second?" Lopez demanded with a theatrical eye roll, provoking a smattering of cheers and guffaws from the largely pro-Meghan audience members. "This dude Prince Harry has really drunk the Kool-Aid with his missus, am I right?" Lopez then launched into an extended riff that grew more searing and unrestrained with every punchline. He cocked his head and raised a simpering hand to his brow in a theatrical impersonation of Harry, before launching into a high-pitched nasal whine. "Oh Meghan, my dearest," he simpered in a put-upon English accent. "Whatever shall we do to enrage the fam today? Tally-ho and all that rot? Do remind me to polish your bedpan when I've finished scrubbing the floors." A wave of shocked laughter rippled through the crowd, punctuated by a few dismayed gasps from more genteel audience members. But Lopez was only getting started, his incendiary Meghan material rapidly shedding layers of decorum and restraint as he ramped up the offensiveness. "That Prince Harry has turned into one sad, whipped mud of a man," he crowed, slipping into a guttural macho drawl straight from the barrios of East LA, just a complete B***tch boy marionette, dancing to Meghan's every tune. As audible groans of discomfort emanated from portions of the crowd, Lopez defiantly doubled down. "How's it feel, Holmes, to have lost your royal crown jewels to a ruthless fame demon like that?" By this point, the showroom had become a microcosm of the larger culture wars swirling around the polarizing Duchess of Sussex. While some audience members roared in delighted approval at Lopez's cutting provocations, others sat in visibly discomfited silence, shifting uncomfortably in their seats as the comedian's material veered into unvarnished misogyny. For his next stunt, Lopez even brought an unwitting audience member into the act. Prowling the stage for a suitable target, his gaze alighted on a meekly smiling, middle-aged bald man sitting near the front row. "You, sir," Lopez barked, his voice taking on the gruff cadence of a drill sergeant as the spotlight glared on the hapless patron. "Tell me, does your wife boss you around and dictate your every move like Harry's does to him?" Giggles and titters rippled through the audience as the flustered man stammered and demurred in response. But Lopez was relentless, doubling down on the emasculating humiliation. "I bet she does, doesn't she?" he crowed with a bellowing laugh. "Just a sad little henpecked kitten whimpering, whatever you say, dear. Am I right, folks?" At this, a chorus of groans and boos echoed through the showroom. The embarrassed audience member slunk down in his seat, flushing beet red in mortification, as other attendees shouted for Lopez to leave the poor man alone. Seemingly invigorated by the crowd's polarized reaction, Lopez plowed ahead undaunted, punctuating his remaining riffs about Harry's utter cuckoldry, with even more outrageous anatomical insinuations and tawdry sexual innuendos regarding Meghan's supposed domination of her hapless husband. By the time his set finally wound down, the atmosphere inside the Eagles Casino had degenerated into a frenzied maelstrom of raucous cheers, disgusted boos and calls for security from offended patrons. As Lopez took his final bows, the bewildered showroom staff looked on helplessly, clearly rattled by the veteran comedian's scorched-earth demolition of comedic boundaries. While shows of that unrestrained, uncensored tenor were nothing new in Lopez's extensive stand-up career, he had undeniably crossed a line with portions of his audience, igniting a firestorm that only grew more furious in the hours and days that followed. No sooner had his performance ended than social media erupted in a frenzied culture clash, with die-hard fans defending his evisceration of Harry and Meghan as deliciously taboo comedy and detractors condemning him for peddling misogynistic smears under the guise of humor. Furious tweets, Facebook philippics, and volleys of memes ricocheted back and forth, turning Lopez's Meghan material into a flashpoint for America's ever-simmering culture wars. Within hours of the show's conclusion, the fallout had metastasized into a national conflagration, dominating the news cycle. On one side, commentators like Tucker Carlson rallied behind Lopez as a heroic champion of free speech, unfettered by the shackles of political correctness. Finally, someone had the cojones to speak an uncomfortable truth about the real power dynamic in the Sussex household, the Fox News firebrand roared during a heated monologue. These delicate liberal snowflakes who fail to see the comedic genius in George's act are exactly why we're a nation in decline. Across the political divide, however, a chorus of outraged voices rose in unified castigation of Lopez's reprehensible, dehumanizing antics. Op-eds and scathing online essays slammed the comedian as a retrograde misogynist trafficking in the most regressive tropes of gender subjugation. Princeton philosophy scholar Dr. Amelia Rossman was among those leading the charge against Lopez, publishing a searing manifesto titled "Comedy's Toxic Nadir: When Edgy Crosses the Line," that rapidly went viral. George Lopez's shockingly brazen mockery of Prince Harry has laid bare the deeply ingrained sickness infecting modern popular culture, Rossman wrote. His depiction of Harry not merely as emasculated but as an almost subhuman nonentity, a demeaned, dehumanized plaything utterly subjugated by his wife, is the toxic endpoint of patriarchal thought repackaged as audacious humor. As the controversy raged across traditional and social media, Lopez defiantly refused to walk back his material or issue any sort of apology for the firestorm he had sparked. If anything, he actively stoked the flames with a series of defiant tweets and videos doubling down on his depiction of Harry as Meghan's puppet. "If you were truly offended by my Harry jokes, maybe do some self-reflection and ask why," he sneered during one confrontational Instagram rant. "My comedy is raw, it's truthful, a much-needed comedic colonic for our society's delicate sensibilities. Deal with it, snowflakes." With both sides digging in their ideological trenches, what had started as a raucous stand-up set had mushroomed into a full-fledged culture war conflagration. Comedy clubs across the nation braced for potential protests and disruptions from activists. Cable news pundits lined up to furiously debate whether Lopez's act qualified as punching up or punching down at his targets. And at the eye of the hurricane sat the members of the Sussex household themselves. While no official comment had yet been issued from the couple regarding Lopez's inflammatory skewering, many royal watchers doubted they could resist weighing in for much longer, especially in light of the controversy's mounting intensity. When and if they did opt to address the fracas, it would serve as the ultimate barometer of whether Lopez's shock jock shtick qualified as cum.